We started going through the ethical hacking and penetration testing course last week, and we were able to install Kali Linux on VirtualBox. It was a bit of a crazy live stream. We had to pivot from what I thought we were going to have to do of installing UTM for virtualization to being able to actually use VirtualBox on the Mac on my Mac. So that was really cool. I had a lot of fun, but with all the fun of installing these operating systems, doing these projects and stuff like that, there's also concepts that we need to grasp and understand for ethical hacking and penetration testing. So today I want to talk about what a part of the course that we're going to have to learn anyway. So I want to talk about the 5 stages of penetration testing so that while we are actually going through the course, we have all of this in mind so that we can put the practical with the theory, and that we can be strong ethical hackers, right? So welcome to another episode of Software Explorations. Concept and Overviews hosted by your truly technical drop, where we are engineered to win. So like I said, in today's episode, we're going to be going through the 5 stages of penetration testing. We're going to explore those. We're going to be talking about some tools that you use for each of the stages, why they're important, all of that good stuff, right? So with that being said, let's just jump right into it. Let's get started. So as I said, the topic for today, the 5 stages of penetration testing, understanding the process of securing systems. So on our agenda for today, we're going to have our little introduction talking about, we're going to have a quick overview of what penetration testing is. We're going to go overview of the 5 stages of penetration testing. Then we're going to go through each stage. We can just quickly list them out right now. Stage 1, reconnaissance. Stage 2, scanning. Stage 3, exploitation. Stage 4, maintaining access after you get in. Stage 5, reporting and remediation. And then we're going to be talking about the importance of following a methodology. We're going to talk about the different tools that are used throughout each of the 5 stages. And then we'll talk about the challenges and things to take into consideration for when doing ethical hacking and penetration testing. Then we're going to wrap it up with our conclusion like we always do, okay? So let's do a quick recap of what is penetration testing, what is ethical hacking, and why it's important. So penetration testing is simulated cyber attacks to assess system vulnerabilities. Ethical hacking, it's authorized hacking to improve security of an application, of a system, whatever. And why is it important? Because it is helping to prevent real-world cyber threats. So let's do a quick rundown of the 5 stages again. So we have reconnaissance, scanning, exploitation, and gaining access. We have maintaining access. So after you actually exploit to gain the access, then you have to maintain the access, and then reporting and remediation. So let's talk about stage 1, reconnaissance. So what is it? So it's pretty much gathering preliminary information about the target, right? So you're doing, if you know the term recon, when you are in police terms, like when they might be on a stakeout, when they're doing investigation, when they're gathering all the details, kind of like in legal, like when they're going through the discovery phase, when they're trying to gather all the evidence, right? There's 2 types of reconnaissance. There's the passive versus the active type. And some tools that are used during the reconnaissance phase is Google dorking, which I am totally not familiar with, but that's definitely something we're going to get into during the course. The link for the course that we're going through is pinned to the top of the chat as well as in the description. There's WhoIsLookup. I am very familiar with WhoIsLookup. Being someone who used to design websites and worked for a web hosting company, it was very important to use WhoIsLookup to see who the domain is registered to see what are the name servers that it's pointed to. That way, with that, then you end up knowing where the host is, and you can start doing some more reconnaissance on the actual host to see, okay, how can we get into a blue host or a gator host and things like that. And then we have OSINT, open source intelligence. So the goal of reconnaissance is to identify entry points and weak spots. Just like I was saying, like, okay, when you're doing reconnaissance, you do the WhoIsLookup, you can see where their application or their site is hosted at, and then that gives you some more information on how to proceed next. In the scanning phase, in stage 2, so what is scanning? Scanning is probing the system for live hosts, open ports, and services. there's two types of scans: network scanning, and vulnerability scanning. So network scanning, how to gain access into the system, and then vulnerability scanning is okay. What maybe are they? Can you do an SQL injection? Are there any backdoors that are open? Is the API not secure? So you can see what other, like how can you gain access? How can you exploit which we're going to get into next, right? Some tools that are used is Nmap, Nessus, OpenVAS, and I'm not, trust me, I am not really familiar with these tools yet, but I'm sure that we're going to get into them during the course. But I'm just listing them out there to you. Maybe you are in cybersecurity already, and this is like, oh, I know all this stuff already, and that's amazing. But a lot of us here, we are just learning this together. The goal of scanning is to pinpoint specific vulnerabilities that we'll be able to exploit. Okay. Now, stage 3, exploitation. The definition of exploitation is using vulnerabilities to gain unauthorized access. Some common exploitation techniques: SQL injections, cross-site scripting, XSS, buffer overflow. Okay, I'm familiar with SQL injection. I'm familiar with cross-site scripting. I'm not familiar with buffer overflow. Right. Some tools used for exploitation would be Metasploit, Hydra, and Burp Suite. I've heard of Burp Suite. I haven't heard of the other ones. I don't know how Burp Suite works, but I've heard of the term, right? The goals of exploitation is to validate the vulnerabilities and assess the extent of compromise. So how bad is it? Stage 4 now, maintaining access. So after you exploited and you've gained access, now how do I keep my access? Okay. So the definition of maintaining access is ensuring continued access for long-term testing. The techniques are to install backdoors or rootkits. So after you get it, now you install something on their end so that you can make sure that you can consistently be able to get into the application and things like that, right? Using persistent scripts, ethical limitations, avoid causing harm while maintaining access, right? So, and that's the key thing of being a penetration tester and an ethical hacker, because you're playing for the good guys, right? Or you're on the side of the good guys. So you want to avoid causing harm to the application, but still keep your access, because on the other side, they do not care. They will wreak havoc, and then they'll, that's their goal. So the goal of the ethical hacker maintaining access, of the penetration tester getting access, is to simulate advanced persistent threats, APTs. So somebody can get into the system, and now they can stay there and cause damage, and you can't get back in. So we want to simulate that in order to protect our employers, those that we're doing the bug bounty for, things like that. And then stage 5, reporting and remediation. So the definition of this is documenting findings and providing solutions. Both very important. Both sides of it very important. This is how I got in. This is what I found. These are the vulnerabilities. And then saying, okay, so also, I think you're doing a great job if you can provide great documentation of what you found. But now you're just an amazing penetration tester and ethical hacker if you can also provide the solutions to prevent, going forward, how to keep the system safe, what patches that you need to put in place. Maybe your software is out of date. Remember, we had a bug bite episode where the reason that hackers got into a system is because they hadn't updated some critical infrastructure in it was like for like 6 months to a year old, So that's what the penetration testers are like. Wait, we need to keep up to date with our software packages. We need to make sure we're blocking these ports from entry. So what are the contents of a good report? So you have the summary of the test that was conducted, the details of the vulnerabilities that you found, proof of concepts for the exploits that are possible, and then remediation recommendations, okay, how to fix this, how to protect the system, right? The importance of this is it helps the organization improve security, and it ensures compliance with industry standards. So, like, especially when I was working in the pharma industry, there are so many regulations that you have to have in place. Like even from like when you're deploying software, it cannot be the software engineers who are deploying it. It has to be a different team. It's a lot of stuff, right? A lot of different approval processes to go through. So you have to make sure that you're in compliance with your industry, depending on the industry that you're in, right? So I know another big one would be like the financial industry. They're going to have a lot of rules and regulations in place that when it comes to deploying software. So and you know those industries with more regulations, they pay more money because because like that niche, that structure, you need to be a lot more careful, because if not, then you will be hit with a fine and you'll be accused of being a monopoly in no time. All right. So, what is the importance of following an actual methodology? You know, having something a workflow. You know, so it ensures consistency and thoroughness. So when you have like a checklist to follow, you can go down the checklist, making sure you're hitting on every point. You adhere to legal and ethical guidelines, and it aligns with frameworks like the OSSTMM and NIST standards. You know what? I should have checked this, but I didn't. Let me do it right now. So let's see, what is the OSTMM stand for? So let's see. So the OSSTMM, it stands for the Open Source Security Testing Methodology Manual, and it's peer reviewed and maintained by the Institute for Security and Open Methodologies, ISECOM. It has been primarily developed as a security auditing methodology assessing against regulatory and industry requirements. Right. So, and let me see what the NIST standard is. So NIST is the National Institute of Standards and Technology of the U.S. Department of Commerce. The NIST cybersecurity framework helps businesses of all sizes better understand, manage, and reduce their cybersecurity risk and protect their networks and data. Well, that's great. It's just interesting that just the other day we had a report that the U.S. Treasury was hacked by China-sponsored hackers, but we also have the National Institute of Standards and Technology at the U.S. Department of Commerce, which is supposed to help us better manage and understand, manage, and reduce our our cybersecurity risk and protect our networks and data. Right? But I digress. Let's get back to it. So, what are some tools that are used in the different stages of ethical hacking? So, we already touched on a few of them already, but we'll give a little bit more of these tools, and then we'll be looking to explore these tools either in these different software explorations or on a live stream. All right. So, so for Reconnaissance, so I'm just gonna go down a list. I listed 3 here, but there's a lot more. So, for Reconnaissance, right? Under the open source intelligence tools, OSINT, it's Meltego. There's Recon-NG. There's the OSINT framework. There's Shodan, right? And then under information gathering, we have Google Dorking, search operators. We have Whois Lookup. We have Hunter.io for email discovery. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. And then we have social media platforms, LinkedIn, Twitter, or LinkedIn, X, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, Facebook, TikTok, whatever you can think of, right? So I'm skipping ahead, all right? So for scanning, we have for network scanning, we have Nmap. You remember there's the network scanning, there's the vulnerability scanning, there's port scanning, right? So we have Nmap, network mapper. We have ZenMap, is a GUI version of Nmap. We have Angry IP Scanner, not to be confused with Happy IP Scanner. Okay, I'm kidding. I don't know if Happy IP Scanner exists or not, but we have Angry IP Scanner. And then for vulnerability scanning, we have Nessus, we have Open VAS, we have Qualis, and we have Burp Suite Scanner for web app specific, right? And then under port scanning, we have Masscan, we have Netcat, right? And then for exploitation, which is gaining access, we have the tools that we have for exploitation frameworks. We have Metasploit, Cobalt Strike, Canvas. I haven't used any of these. The name Metasploit sounds semi-familiar, but I haven't used any of these. I can't wait though until we start using these in our course. For web application exploitation, we have Burp Suite, we have SQL Map, we have SQL, which SQL Map is SQL injection testing. We have W3AF, and not the AF you're thinking about, but it's Web Application Attack and Audit Framework. Okay, and that's so it's W, the web, and then the 3A is for application, attack, and audit, and then framework. So W3AF. And then for password cracking, we have Hydra, and then we have John the Ripper. Yes, John the Ripper is a password cracking tool. We have Hashcat. And then for custom scripts and payloads, we have MSF Venom, Metasploit payload generator, and we have Python scripts. Okay. Now let's get to maintaining access. What are some tools for maintaining access? Right. So for backdoors and persistence, we have Metasploit's modules. We have Empire, and not the show Empire, but the PowerShell post-exploitation framework named Empire. We have C2, command and control frameworks like Covenant. And then for file uploads, we have Wively, which is the web shell. And then we have Netcat for reverse shells, right? So reverse shells, we use Netcat. And then lastly, for reporting and remediation, the tools that we have for that. So for documentation tools, we have Dratus, collaborative reporting. We have KeepNote, note-taking for pen testers. We have Cherry Tree, hierarchical note organizer. And then for screen and data capture, we have OBS Studio for recording exploits, which OBS Studio is used for so many things. I used to use OBS Studio for live streaming and recording video. Sometimes I still use OBS for recording video, right? But we have OBS Studio. And then we have Wireshark for network traffic analysis. I have played around with Wireshark at one point. And then for automated report generation, we have Nessus or OpenVAS reports. And we have Burp Suite reports as well, okay? And then we have some additional tools that can be used throughout all the stages. So I just wanted to share with you those additional multi-stage tools. We have Wireshark, network traffic analysis. We just spoke about that, but it can be used across all the stages for network traffic analysis. We have Kali Linux, which is what we installed last week, and we had a hell of a time doing that. I dropped some clips from that as well. Hopefully that you found those valuable. But we have Kali Linux, comprehensive platform with pre-installed tools for ethical hacking, penetration testing. We have Parrot Security OS, which is an alternate. It's an alternate to Kali Linux. In case you don't want to do Kali Linux for some reason, you can do Parrot Security OS. I will see if I can find some documentation on how we can install Parrot Security on a virtual machine, and we can take a look around at that as well. Because why should we be limited to just one tool? I think we should be very, very well rounded. Okay. And then we have the OWASP ZAP, web vulnerability testing. So those are some additional tools that are available, and that, not that are available, but which they are available, but we'll use that throughout the whole life cycle or all the stages of penetration testing, okay? All right, so what are some challenges that we face when we are doing penetration testing and ethical hacking? So definitely you're going to have a time constraint because you just don't have endless time to try to get into a system. You know, things get outdated and stuff like that. And then another thing is, how do you evade getting detected? Because you might be able to get in, but you might get caught very soon. You know, very quickly. Which, if you get caught, I mean, it's not the end of the world because you're doing it ethically and you are requested to do it. But it does mean that the system is either protected in a decent way, or you suck at evasion and you're getting caught, you know? So it just gives us opportunity to improve, to get faster, to get better, to get more evasive. You know, let's be evasive in the things that are going to pay and are going to be beneficial instead of being evasive in like these situations that we should not be in, you know? And then, all right, so we have some legal and ethical considerations as well. So you have to have written authorization before you start getting into somebody's system, you know? It's, you know, just get authorization. Let's put it like that. Just make them sign a contract. Say, hey, I give you permission to be here, all right? And then also avoiding avoid causing unintended damages. So after you get in, you want to end up like by mistake trying something out and you just delete everything. And now what you're trying to help with, you end up being a nightmare and a nuisance. Okay. So that is it for today. Talking about the 5 stages of ethical hacking. We went through, a basic general overview and introduction. What is ethical hacking? What is penetration testing? Why it's important? We went through the 5 stages of ethical hacking, which we'll run down real quick. We went through what reconnaissance is. We went through what scanning is, what exploitation, which is gaining access. We went through maintaining access after you've exploited it. We went through stage 5 of reporting and remediation, and why that's important. We spoke about the importance of following a methodology. We went through a list of different tools used at each stage, and we spoke about what are the challenges and considerations. So with that being said, if you have any feedback, you think I should go deeper, which we will eventually, deeper into any of these topics, or if you have any questions that you would like me to look into and answer for you, which I'll be more than happy to answer them live on Thursday nights during the live streams where we're learning penetration testing and ethical hacking, or if it is outside of what will be covered on Thursday night, I'll be more than happy to answer it on a Tuesday Q&A show for you. Right, but join us on Thursday nights. Get the course. I would love for you to follow along and that we can learn this together. I've had some people reach out to me saying, "Hey, I got the course. I'm learning it. I'm installing Kali Linux. I'm installing VirtualBox. I'm installing UTM." And that just makes me so happy to see. So join us live on Thursday nights. We're going to be going, today's Wednesday that this video is being released. We're going to be going live tomorrow night, Thursday, where we're going to be doing a little bit more. I have to see what's next in the course, but we were able to get in there last week and look around, start configuring our network through VirtualBox, which was unexpected that we were going to install VirtualBox. So a lot of good stuff, right? So join us on Thursday nights. If you need the course, the link is in the description, pinned to the top of the chat for this premiere. All of that good stuff, right? With that being said, let's go back. All right, so there you have it. That was our presentation on the 5 stages of penetration testing and ethical hacking. A lot of information covered, but I tried to keep it at a high enough level that we can actually, like, as we're learning each of those steps, each of those stages, we can have more breakdowns on how to do them, what's the key thing that we're looking for, all that good stuff. So I'm trying to have this as an introduction to the 5 stages, and then as we get into it in the course, then we'll have corresponding videos that goes along with it, just so that we can be on the same stage. We can learn this together, okay? That is about it for today. Like I said, join us tomorrow night on the live stream as we're going to continue going through the course, and we'll have some fun and we will learn a lot together. Do me a favor on your way out, though. If you haven't done so already, after about 25 minutes now, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications so you know every time that we go live and drop new content, as well as go to techcoachdraft.dev. If you are in need of one-on-one coaching where I can help you with your resume, I can help you with interview preparation. If you're trying to get some practical experience, I can help you with that as well. Throw you on a project so that you can see how to work on a team, how to work in an agile environment, how to use Git, how to use Docker, how to use all of that good stuff, right? And if you just need access to exclusive information, also have that as well. And you can even sign up for free, where you can get access to all of the sprint reviews that I upload from the Tech Barbarians, as well as some other free content. Mostly it's the sprint reviews, but it'll help you nonetheless, even if you sign up for free, all right? But with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. You guys have an amazing, amazing rest of your week. This is Tech Coach Ralph. We are out.
We slanging massive code. We slanging massive code. We slanging massive code. Learned the code while the city slept tight. Now I'm slinging lines that spark like late night. From Python webs to TypeScript skies. React in my veins and APIs that rise. Keyboard clacking, I'm stacking gold. Syntax flows like stories untold. Drinking caffeine, I'm breathing in cold from morning dawn till the night unfolds. My code goes long, my code goes deep. Caught in the stream where the data don't sleep. Need my digits, better call my line. Slanging massive code like a story time. In the hustle jungle where the bites meet still. Digital canvas where I paint and fill. JavaScript whispers in the code I weave. Tech dreams blossom in the lines I conceive. Lines so slick they can't be caught. Variables twist in every plot. Python powers every thought. JavaScript legit, hitting the right spot. My code goes long, my code goes deep. Caught in the stream where the data don't sleep. Need my digits, stacks, build my empire tall. Debugging dreams where the errors fall. Lines of brilliance break the darkest night. Script so dope, you can see me in the light. TypeScript magic on my fingertips. Reacts to canvas where logic flips. API dances syncing clips. My code's a song where data drips. My code goes long, my code goes deep. Caught in the stream where the data don't sleep. Need my digits, better code.